Some of our co-hosts have chosen sides for tonight's rematch of the NBA Finals between defending champs, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Golden State Warriors. It tips off live tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern here on ABC. And unfortunately, as LeBron James prepares to play in his 7th straight NBA final, he has to deal with being the victim of racist graffiti scrawled on his home. Here's what he has to say about it.
Racism will always be a part of the world, a part of America. And, you know, hate, you know, in America, especially for African American, is living every day. And even though that, you know, that it's concealed most of the time, no matter how much money you have, no matter how famous you are, no matter how many people admire you, you know, being black in America is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think this will show people how far-reaching racism still is? You think people don't know?
I think there are people that don't know. I think I have had conversations with people that will say to me, you know, racism is dead. That's a thing of the past. And I'm always saying, no, it's not. I heard comments about President Obama. I hear people make comments all the time, unfortunately, that I'll hear, and it bothers me because I feel like that sentiment should be something that's a thing of the past. But until we acknowledge that it's not dead, we're not going to be able to eradicate it or face it. And I give him so much respect for his composure in that moment, because to have something deface your home
with your children
and
inside,
remind you of a time in history where it was okay for people to say things like that, and to have that level of composure, I commend him for that. I don't know that I would have been able to do what he did.
You know, he said that it doesn't matter if you're famous and wealthy and everything else. I think it's because he's famous and wealthy. A lot of people who are racist are low-level thinkers. They're low-hanging fruit, as we say. And I think that they're actually jealous that a black guy could achieve so much in his life. They treated Obama the same way. How dare a black man be in the White House? How dare he, when I'm a low-life imbecile and I can't do it? It's jealousy. I believe anti-Semitism is very much based on envy and jealousy of a people who achieve so much and you can't. And so this is how you lash out at these people.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way. I will say, since being on this show for season 20, I have received more hate mail calling me the N-word than ever in my career.
They called you a newsmaker?
And it's so hurtful.
Oh, honey.
when you get it, and it's so hateful, and I keep on wondering, is this a result of the loss of civility that we talk about all the time?
No, listen, racism has been institutional in this country. Let's start with that.
Let's remember where we started.
That's how this began. And so I don't know what it is. It's just what people do. And if you have anything to say, we have now an internet that allows people to say anything they want to you directly.
And it's horrible. It's interesting,
but
though.
you read it.
But you know what, Sonny, why be hurt by it, Sonny? Why not just deflect and say, you are stupid. You people are moronic.
It's hard not to be hurt. When someone hates you because of the color of your skin, something that you cannot control, because of your race, it makes me, it's scary. And it scares me for the world that my children are inheriting. Remember, I am raising a black boy, a black girl, and it scares me as a mom.
Well, you know what? What should happen, what should be happening is you should be explaining to them the foolishness of how this works.
I have to. It's my duty.
I know. Yeah. But you being afraid doesn't help. These words like, those words are meant to stop you in your tracks.
That's right.
They're meant to stop you. They're meant to make you unhappy. Those words, young people took that word and say, no more. We're not going for that anymore. We have to let this stuff go so that when somebody calls you one, you turn, you say, you talking to me because I don't know any, I've never been one.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what you have to do. Not fear.
Revealing about race to me was I was just watching this Larry Bird Magic Johnson 30 for 30, and then I had
of course, seen the OJ one. In both instances, while I was watching, I found this moment where they were trying to describe the level these people reached, and they said they weren't even black anymore. They were, and I thought, huh? And they were saying that people at a time when they were very judgmental about the race of they had to see past the color to appreciate them, to honor them. And I remember thinking, what? Like, I had to think about that for a while. And in both instances, that's how they got their point across, was these people were beyond black.
Well, let me say this, though. It's interesting because I keep on asking myself, why is it happening so much more, at least to me? The Southern Poverty Law Center reported that its count of hate groups in the country since the election has increased for the second consecutive year. And they've also found that, Progress found, since the election, there were a total of 261 documented incidents of hate. 41.7% of the incidents were connected to the election of Trump and against African Americans.
Well, when you know, African Americans, black people and Muslims and women, look, you know, here's the bottom line. No one's going anywhere. Yeah, Americans come in all shapes and sizes, all colors. We're white, we're black, we're yellow, we're red, and none of us are leaving. So either you get with the program and recognize that gay people and straight people and people of all different colors are not leaving this country. The reason people are here is because this is one of the few countries on the face of the earth where you can be who you are, and nobody's going to take that away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. In a move that could impact as many as 55 million women in America, the current administration is moving to reverse the Obamacare requirement that employers provide free birth control to employees. Conservatives claim it protects religious nonprofit groups from violating their faith. But isn't that kind of imposing your beliefs on your workers?
It's also a bit of a conflict for them to say this, because you want to remove funding from places like Planned Parenthood that allows for family planning and decisions. You now want to remove contraception, and yet you say that people that are poor, like Dr. Ben Carson said, you know, people that live in projects and things are getting too comfortable and, you know, they're sucking the system dry. Well, you're not giving them options to make the right decision. If you're pulling you're almost punishing us for having ovaries. Like,
we also miss, that's a great point. We also, I think, miss a big point in the contraception debate. We call them birth control pills, contraceptive pills. A lot of women, and I was one of them, take these for medical reasons. I wasn't having sex for a long time, unfortunately, but when I took these pills, I was taking them because I had irregular cycles, I was fainting, I had a medical condition where I had to be on them. So in some ways, these need to be treated the same way that your medication for diabetes and your heart medication.
Viagra.
Yes, that's right.
Well, Viagra.
Women need these for medical reasons.
What I really love about it is that Viagra is covered under all of these plans. Because they consider not getting an erection a disability. If a 90-year-old is not getting an erection, that's just nature taking its course. Yeah. The world does not stop because grandpa can't. Okay? But if a woman has 20 kids, that stops her life. And so I think that this needs to be rethought.
One small note, just really quickly, is the other thing is everyone has an image of a teenage girl that needs to go secretly and be on birth control. Many of the people on birth control are women like me in their 30s that are trying to maintain a marriage and do that biblical thing and know what your limits are.
One thing that is always surprising to me with Christians and evangelicals and people of faith is that they are supportive of this rolling back of contraception for women, but what they don't understand is because of this Obama mandate, abortion was lowest for the first time since 1970. We had the lowest abortion
It says that,
and so,
read it.
Yeah.
Several studies show that free birth control lowers abortion rates by a range of 62 to 78%.
78%. And so if you are someone of faith that says you are pro-life, then you should be supportive of people using birth control.
Or how about this? Stay out of, how about this? Do what you need to do for your family. Let me do what I need to do for mine, and we'll all be fine. I don't understand.
They mind their own. Conservatives who care about conservatives that are true conservatives that care about personal responsibility are a, mind your business type of people. Like, I live my life, live and let live. That is true conservatism.
It's religion.
Yeah, but you can't hide behind religion to restrict other people's rights.
Well,
that is not
well, that's done all the time. We saw it when people said, "Oh, we can't have gay people adopting, so we're going to stop."
Well, that's wrong too.
You know what?
It's wrong.
I just feel that you have to, at some point, you have to take responsibility for your life.
Let's not forget that one of the reasons they do this is to keep women in their place, barefoot and pregnant.
But there are women, too, that are saying, oh, women shouldn't have access to this. And I'm just asking women.
They're not saying that. They're saying they don't want the government. They don't want to pay for it.
But if it's medical, if it's medical.
We're going to be right back, and we have to finish talking about this.
The hot topics on The View, from politics.
Do you have to have a political conversation with your gynecologist?
The last thing you want to hear when you're in the stirrups is slide down and let's make America great again.
To your love life.
Research claims that the average length of sex is 7.5 minutes. It takes me that long to get my shirt off.
To OMG.
Anyway. We're talking about this idea that birth control isn't something that the government should be
You've had a limited government argument.
I think the argument that you hear from people of faith is, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't want my tax dollars going towards that. I don't want to pay for it.
This is not about your tax dollars. This
and I don't want the government involved.
This is about...
Because obligating insurance companies.
This is totally different.
That's not government funded.
This is not government funded. This is what you pay in at your job. This allows companies to say, if you're a faith-based company, you don't have to do this. So I say, if you're a faith-based company, you should not get any tax breaks. How about that? The churches, if you're going to operate like everybody else, you don't get the tax breaks. Stay out of my... Stay out.
But this was a government mandate. This was an Affordable Care Act birth control mandate.
Yeah,
and so there is government action there.
You're talking about Obama, who was a progressive president, to this guy who was a totally throwback to the 50s.
But I'm a limited government girl, and I'm coming in and I'm saying
that you are not in favor.
Because people who are saying this don't understand that this drug is oftentimes not just taken for contraception. They don't understand it.
Yeah,
and they're not doing it.
What's the percentage of it?
No, I'm sorry. There are a lot of women, and I'm sure a lot of them are watching, that are saying, if there are if there are 2 drugs on the market, and I don't care how many it is, why don't
the majority of women need it for birth control, not to regulate their period.
I think you're wrong. There's women that have endometriosis.
If you have major PMS or suffer from depression, oftentimes at a young age, which is one of the reasons I was put on it, they said you will not sink as low every month if we put this on. A lot of people
I don't see the numbers there. I think that's...
Here's the other thing.
The numbers
if you want people to be responsible for having children and they're married, this is what they need. Okay, this is what they need. Now, I don't want to pay for the 12, 15-year war we've been in, but I know that there are things I have to do as an American. What I would like is everybody to pay their fair share. That would make me happy. That would make me happy. But if, as a religious group, if you're going to talk politics as a religious group, you don't get a tax break. Sorry. Because the whole point was that you go to church to talk to God. You do anything. You're not there to hear the priest's opinion or the minister's opinion of who is the right person. That's not why you go to church. And if that is the reason you're going, all you mega church, give up your money. Give it up. Because you can't have it both ways. People either have to be responsible and in charge, and you have to say, listen, I understand you're a Catholic woman, but you don't want to have 50 kids.
Yeah, but
you don't want to do that.
Maybe these women should stop having sex with their husbands. That's one solution.
Wow.
Just shut down shop until they fix it.
Whoopi, you're also not, if you're a religious organization and you offer this option to someone else, that doesn't mean you're condoning the behavior. That means that you're enabling that person
to do what
take ownership
right
of their life.
No, I disagree with that. I mean,
why? So that's like saying if a baker sells a cake to a gay couple, they're condoning that. No,
if you
they're
work
a business.
For, let's say, a Catholic school, and the Catholic school provides, the diocese provides birth control. Certainly the message is that
they provide health care where you decide
birth control.
you decide what you need.
Right.
So basically what you're saying is people who work in religious hospitals or schools, even if they're Jewish or they're not believers, you're saying they're not welcome there because unless you believe exactly and do exactly what they say, you're not welcome. That's not what you're supposed to be saying. That's not Christian. We'll be back.
Get ready. Chance the Rapper is up next.
Okay. So I'm going to make this really simple. Please welcome Chance the Rapper. Here's something. People always talk about how great, what a great guy you are, and I was wondering what you thought of the insanity that happened on LeBron's gate.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a common pattern in America's history. When people that look like me get to a certain point of success. I mean, LeBron James is, to me, the greatest of all time basketball player, and people want to remind you that, well, how they view you as a second-class citizen. And, you know, it's not much you could do other than keep thriving.
Yeah,
Shout out to LeBron.
Success is the worst revenge.
Success is the best revenge.
Well, clearly you're getting the last laugh on that topic because you've won 3 Grammys this year.
Yeah.
You're selling out arenas, you're on the front of magazine covers, and you did this all without a record label.
Yeah.
Why was that important route for you to take?
Well, I guess just based on where I'm sitting, like, I feel like that was the only way for me to get all that stuff done. But I think it's important to let people know that, you know, even a person in my position, a young black kid from Chicago, you can make your own decisions, you know, decide your own path, you know, say yes and no to what you want to. And I learned a lot of that stuff from, I mean, before I even met him, from comedian Dave Chappelle. Anybody? A man with a lot of integrity, and I studied him since I was young, and he made the same kind of decisions I hope to make in my life.
Remember when he gave up that $1 million contract to Comedy Central?
Oh, $40 million.
It's a gazillion dollars.
It's a lot of money at the time, And he just said, I don't want to do this right now. And he came back, and he's bigger than ever.
Still
Some
good.
people have called what you do gospel rap. Is that an accurate portrayal?
I wouldn't say I make gospel rap or Christian rap, but I am a Christian rapper. I'm a Christian, so yeah. It's a great audience.
He doesn't have to do anything.
The audience is here for you. So, okay. It's only an hour show, guys. So let's talk about Chicago, because you grew up in Chicago. And interestingly, I mean, it's a terrible thing that they saw a 58% increase in gun violence in 2016 in Chicago. What do you make of that? What happened there?
Well, I mean, it's a result of a lot of things. We have a underfunded public school system. We've had an underfunded public school system for a long time. We have over-policed neighborhoods and terrible relationships between the communities and officers.
Is there gang violence there? Is that an issue?
Yeah, and it's also very, you know, it's very concentrated in areas. Chicago, per capita, is the most segregated city in the world. geographically. You know, white neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, Mexican neighborhoods. And so I think just years of being underappreciated and underserved as citizens of Chicago. There's a lot of, you know.
Tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's a whole lot of different reasons behind it.
Chicago has a bad rap, especially lately. I mean, I remember Trump went after Chicago, and remember that whole speech, what have you got to lose, that whole routine?
Yeah.
What'd you make of that? What'd you make
I don't know. I haven't seen him in Chicago before. I don't know what his relationship
He's
with
afraid
Chicago
to go there.
is. Yeah, I don't know if he knows what he's talking about.
You're 23 years old, and you were named by Fortune magazine as one of the 50 greatest world leaders at 23 years old. That's amazing. One thing that I love about you, you talked about underfunded public schools. You're very into social activism, and you donated $1 million of your own money to Chicago public schools. Why that particular issue, and why social activism? Why are you drawn to it?
Well, a lot of reasons. I think, well, social activism as a whole, I just grew up with, you know, strong figures in my family, the women in my family. You know, my great-grandmother marched for King. My grandmother volunteered herself and all her kids to work for Harold Washington's campaign when they had no money. I just came from a lot of, there's a lot of women and men in my family, especially my dad, who were just leaders and feel some type of calling to...
Didn't somebody work in the Obama administration?
My dad, yeah. So my dad worked for Harold Washington, for Barack Obama. He's
and for the mayor, for Ari Emanuel as well.
Yeah. And he used to be our block club president. I don't know, he's just, he likes to boss people around, I guess. But yeah, I think there's just always been a calling to, you know, if there's something wrong in the world, to try and put some type of dent in it. And with the schools thing, it's just, you know, that's like the biggest topic in the city. I'm a new parent, and, you know, I want my daughter to be a CPS kid, and, you know, if there's no more CPS, then how's that going to happen? So I'm trying to, you know, play my part. We've raised over $2.2 million, and
you know, you do come from a history of social activism, and your father, I said Ari Emanuel, I meant Rahm Emanuel. And you're longtime friends with the Obamas, Malia and Sasha, love your music, love you. People want you to also run for public office. Is that something you've ever thought about?
I mean, I guess I've thought about it. I would never do it, though. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I think you do more good the way you're doing it.
Actually,
yeah.
Politics is the reason why a lot of stuff doesn't get done. There's a lot of limitations.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think if you were in office, but if you were in office, I don't know if you'd be allowed to give $1 million of your own money to the Chicago school system.
There's a lot of, I think people, you know, become a little silenced and a little bit stagnant when they get in office. It's so amazing to meet you, Ms. Goldberg. It's so cool.
She's cool.
Yeah. And you know what? You know, first of all, you have to call me Whoopi, because with a name like Whoopi, you can't be Miss Goldberg. But you know, one of the great things that I love about you is that the idea that you've said to people, I realized I had to do this for me. I had to get what I wanted in the best way I could do it. And that's been great, because you didn't need anyone to tell you how to do it. You went and you found it out. Do you think that's important for young people to understand, that you can't wait for someone to give it to you, you have to go after it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people are limited by what they're allowed to see take place, right? So, like, not to spend too much time on LeBron James, greatest ever, but his involvement with the Players Association and his commitment to making sure everything's fair for all the players is what I idolize. You know, I want young artists to know that it's very possible to have success in the music industry with your own guidance and your own team behind you. And I think, like, everything that I try and do is, you know, it's important for me to know that it's possible, but I also want everyone else to know, you know, what's important.
Well, look, don't scream. He's gonna stick around. Hold up. And we'll be right back. Now.